Hello everyone, welcome to the fourth tutorial class on analog communication, and it will be presented by myself Dr. Shrudeep Mondal. As you remember, in earlier class we have discussed the theoretical background of DSBFC, DSBSC type AM signal. Now in this class we shall discuss different AM generation procedure. Okay, so we shall observe how can we generate DSBSC, DSBFC signal. There are lots of real life modulator that exist to generate the AM signal. Among them, square law modulator, balance modulator, and ring modulator are very popular, and we shall discuss these three type of modulator and their operating principle one by one. Okay, so these are the content. Now let's start. Coming to the first slide, that is theoretical background of DSBSC AM generation. How can we generate DSBSC AM? Okay, as we know, the mathematical equation for the DSBSC can be expressed as St equal to xt into a cos omega ct, where xt is the message signal and a cos omega theta is the carrier signal. Now we can replace xt by Vm cos omega mt if we consider the singleton frequency or singleton modulation. So we can write that St equal to a Vm by 2 into 2 cos omega mt into cos omega ct. Now we can express cos omega mt and cos omega ct in term of omega c plus omega m and omega c minus omega m. So ultimately the equation become a Vm by 2 into cos omega c plus omega mt plus cos omega c minus omega mt. So from the above equation, it is already clear to us that omega c plus omega m is the higher frequency component or USB, and the omega c minus omega m is the lower frequency component or lower sideband or LSB. Okay, so if you observe the corresponding spectrum of this signal of this DSBSC AM signal, so you already studied that it is look like this. Okay, so here this is the LSB, this one is the USB, where USB is starting from omega c to omega c up to omega c plus omega m, and LSB it start from omega c minus omega m and extend up to omega c. Remember, USB and LSB both are identical to each other, and we should remember that in frequency spectrum only sideband carry the useful information or the message signal. Okay, so our objective is to transfer or is to propagate only sideband portion of the spectrum. Okay, so suppose here omega's value of the omega c is 300 kilohertz, and value of the omega m is suppose 3 kilohertz. So obviously USB will be 303 and LSB will be 297 kilohertz. So the spectrum in between these two frequency will be valid for us, or is the interesting frequency spectrum for the corresponding AM signal. So we want to we want to propagate only this spectrum. So that's why we need to use a band pass filter. What is the purpose of the using the band pass filter? It will pass a certain frequency band through it, and in this case for the DSBSC AM generation, we use such type of bandpass filter whose center frequency is omega c, and upper cutoff frequency is omega c plus omega m, and lower cutoff frequency is the omega c minus omega m. So in that case only this spectrum will be passed through it. So what is the necessity of it using it? Because so if you don't use the bandpass filter, other frequency component like omega m or omega m or its harmonics can pass through it. Okay, and in the transmitting end we get different kind of frequency also. So as we want to transmit only the sideband that carry the useful information, that's why we need to use the a bandpass filter. Moreover, uh, Moreover, the other frequencies, rest of frequency spectrum can be used for the others aim whose frequency, whose carrier frequency is different. Suppose we can use 250 kilohertz carrier frequency, and for the other type of message signal. Okay, so for efficient use of total frequency spectrum, we need to use a bandpass filter, so that we can transmit only useful spectrum, that is sideband of DSBSC signal through it. So here you can see that the block diagram of a DSBSCM signal generation process. So you can see that xt is multiplied by its carrier frequency. So we need to use a multiplier whose one input is xt and another input is a cos omega ct. So after the multiplication, we got the output xt into a cos omega ct, and if we if this signal is passed through the band pass filter, we get the corresponding am signal, and ultimately this portion will be passed through it. Clear? So this is the DSBSC. Here it is interesting to observe that there is no separate pilot carrier term in this equation. That's why we use that this is the DSBSC generation. Now let's move to the next slide. Now if you want to if you want to generate the DSBFC, that means there will be separate carrier term that need to be added with it. So here the corresponding equation will be DSBFC will be a cos omega ct plus avm by 2 multiply into cos omega c plus omega m into t plus cos omega c minus omega m into t. Okay, so this is the conventional equation for the DSBFC, and just we need to use another, we need to add another carrier term with the DSBSC, and that will be nothing but the DSBFC. Okay, so basically this block diagram is the theoretical purpose. We use it for the theoretical purpose, but in real life to generate the AM signal, so the approach is quite different. Okay, so in real life we use square law modulator or balance modulator or double balance modulator or ring modulator. Okay, so these three types of modulator are very popular and very cheap for the practical implementation. That's why we shall discuss only these three type of modulator one by one. So first of all, let us consider the square law modulator. So square law modulator, as the name suggests, square law. Here, the we use a non-linear device whose current voltage characteristic is non-linear in nature. That means current vary non-linear with the voltage. So one of the such kind of device is the diode. So as we already know, the equation for the diode is id equal to is into e to the power qv by kt minus 1. So obviously, uh, if the corresponding diode voltage is high, then obviously its current will be exponential in nature, which is non-linear. Okay, so this method is not suitable for low voltage, because if it is operated below the cut-in voltage, so the corresponding current voltage relationship is not non-linear. So obviously we need to use the high voltage. Okay, so in high voltage we use a non-linear device such as diode. So this is the basically the circuit diagram for the square law modulator. Now why the term square law, that will be discussed later. Okay, now just remember that this is the corresponding circuit diagram for the square law modulator, where the carrier signal and modulating signal are connected serially, and this one is the corresponding nonlinear device, that is diode, and this is the LC circuit that can be tuned. That means this is the variable or vector diode, and whose frequency cut off or whose center frequency can be changed by varying the corresponding value of C. So this basically this LC circuit is similar to the a band pass filter. Okay, so as you already know that in case of a DSBSC AM generation, we need to use a band pass filter to pass the uh, respective sideband only. So we need to use a LC circuit, and here there is a VCC. So basically this is a DC voltage supply, and this voltage is added with this circuitry such that the diode should operate it in the forward bias only. Okay, so this is the basically the a DC voltage source such that the diode operate always in forward bias. Okay, so that is all. That's all. Okay, so you can see that if you assuming that carrier signal CT is A cos omega CT, and if you assuming the corresponding message signal XT equal to Vm cos omega MT for the singleton modulation, so obviously the voltage across the diode that is applied, that will be CT plus XT, that is A cos omega CT plus Vm cos omega MT. Here we neglect the VCC term, obviously, as it is DC voltage only. So it is there will be nothing contribution, so only there will be a separate DC term that will be added into the equation, and that can be discarded after later. Okay, so that's why we just mentioned that CT plus XT. Obviously there should be VCC, but for mathematical analysis we just consider A cos omega CT plus Vm cos omega MT only. Now here it is interesting part, that any nonlinear device, the voltage current relationship can be expressed in term of polynomial equation. Basically, any nonlinear line or plane can be expressed in term of polynomial. Okay, here I is the current and V is the variable voltage. So the relationship can be expressed in term of nth order polynomial like this: I equal to A plus BV plus C V square plus D VQ plus E V to the power 4, and it will be extend up to nth order or V to the power n. Okay, so any nonlinear equation can be expressed like this equation, where A B C D, these are the polynomial coefficient. Based on the value of this A B C D, any type of nonlinear equation can be fitted with it. Okay, so we can try it using MATLAB also. However, uh, just for the square law modulator only, we should consider the second order term only, up to second order term only, and we neglect the higher order term. So here current of a nonlinear device of a diode such as diode is expressed in term of A plus BV plus CV square, where A, V and C are the polynomial coefficient and V is the voltage. So current can be written as I equal to, by substituting V equal to A cos omega ct plus Vm cos omega mt. So A plus B into A cos omega ct plus Vm cos omega mt plus C into A cos omega ct plus Vm cos omega mt whole square. Now if we elaborate all these terms, so it can be expressed A plus B into A cos omega ct, B Vm cos omega mt, C square A square cos square omega ct, C square Vm square cos omega mt plus 2 Ca Vm cos omega mt into cos omega ct, A plus B whole square, that is A square plus B square plus 2ab. So using this formula we write this. Now uh, this is the cos square omega ct term. So you can express cos square omega ct as 1 plus cos 2 omega ct. Okay, so just express the higher order omega ct term in term of harmonics of omega c. So c square, sorry, c square cos square omega ct can be written as c square by 2 plus c square by 2 into cos 2 omega ct. Similarly, c vm square cos square omega mt can be written as c vm square by 2 plus c vm square by 2 into cos 2 omega mt. Okay, and similarly 2 cos omega mt into cos omega ct can be expressed cos omega c plus cos omega mt plus cos omega c minus omega mt. So ultimately this is the corresponding equation for the current. And for if we observe this current here, there is no cosine term associated with A, like here c square by 2, c vm square by 2. So what are these terms? Basically this is nothing but the DC term. So just we separate all the DC term first. So DC term are A plus c a square by 2 plus c vm square by 2. Similarly, ba cos omega ct, this is nothing but the carrier term. So this is ba cos omega ct. Okay, and similarly this is b vm cos omega mt, this is nothing but the message signal. Okay, now this term c square by 2 cos 2 omega ct, This is the higher order harmonics or second harmonics of the omega c. This is the second harmonics of the omega m, and this is actually our upper sideband. That means CAVM into cos omega is c plus omega mt plus CAVM into cos omega c minus omega mt. These two terms basically denote the USB and LSB. So basically this is the most important part, whereas this is the DC term, carrier term, message signal term, higher harmonics of carrier, harmonics of the message. All these terms are the not desirable. Okay, so what we do, what we need to do, we need to just pass this signal through a band pass filter. Okay, so if you're using a band pass filter whose center frequency is omega c and upper cutoff frequency is omega c plus omega m and lower cutoff frequency is omega c minus omega m, so then what will happen, it will happen only to pass the modulated signal, that is the sideband and carrier wave also, because its center frequency is omega c. So ultimately the output of this circuit will be look like this: ba cos omega ct, because it will be passed through bandpass filter, and the term associated with the upper sideband, that is CAVM into cos omega c plus omega mt and CAVM cos omega c minus omega mt. Okay, and obviously it can be again expressed in term of cos omega mt into cos omega ct, and if we take common from this equation ba 1 plus 2 CVM by b cos omega mt into cos omega c, and it can be expressed again ba 1 plus mu cos omega mt into cos omega ct. Here you can, as you know the cos equation of the single tone DSBFC signal, so we know that this is the modulation index, so mu is the modulation index and it is nothing but 2 CVM by b. Okay, so here you can see that in the above mentioned process, uh, initially there are in the equation there are lots of component like DC term, message signal, carrier signal, and harmonic of the carrier, harmonics of the message signal, and the corresponding sideband also. So that's why we call it as the unbalanced module process. Why do we unbalance? Because all these unwanted component are present initially. So that's why you call it, it is the square law modulator is unbalanced process. So what is the significance of the term square law? Square law, that means we consider only second order polynomial to denote the nonlinear characteristic of diode, a plus vv plus cv square. That's why we represent square law modulator. Okay, uh, and the corresponding output of the square law modulator is obviously DSBFC, because there is a term for the cos omega c. Clear? So this is the operating principle of square law modulator, but the disadvantages are, this is the simple circuit. Disadvantage, there are lots of carrier, lots of unwanted component is present there, because and it is the unbalanced process. Now coming to the balanced modulator. Okay, so in case of balanced modulator, because this circuit basically generate the DSBSC signal, double sideband suppressed carrier. Okay, and the corresponding circuit for the balanced modulator is look like this. Why look like this? There is a center tap transformer whose in one side cause massive signal has been applied, and there is a carrier signal which is applied at the at the center tap of the transformer, and there is a diode that is placed across it. This is the resistance R, and this is the basically LC circuit, and basically this denote the corresponding band pass filter, and this is the corresponding output. Okay, so from this point to this point it denote the voltage, and from this point to this point the voltage difference is denoted by V2, and output of the diode across it is V3, and here D1, and the output of the D2 diode, output of the D2 diode is V4, and that voltage difference between these 2 points is Vi. So obviously Vi will be V3 minus V4. Clear? So this is the corresponding circuit for the band pass sorry, corresponding balance modulator. Now why do we call it balance modulator, that will be explained later, but right now it you should remember that in this case the corresponding equation, there is no carrier component or other DC term or other harmonics. Okay, so all these terms are discarded by this circuitry. So that's why we call it balance modulator. But here we will observe that modulating wave is still present in the equation. So that's why we called that it is balanced with respect to carrier, because carrier signal. Okay, so that's why you call it also uh, single balanced modulator, because baseband signal or message signal is still present in the equation, and we shall observe it. Okay, now mathematical analysis of the square law modulator, sorry, mathematical analysis of the balance modulator. So again we are considering the nonlinear device of diode, and that is expressed in term of second order nonlinear model or polynomial equation. So it can be expressed like this: I equal to A plus BV plus CV square. Now V1, so if the voltage across it is xt, obviously the along the um, transformer, the voltage will induced, those will be also xt. Obviously for mathematical analysis we are considering these are both xt and xt, and whose polarity is positive negative and positive negative, like this. But in real life, obviously, as this is if this is 2xt, then obviously this will be the xt and xt. But in mathematical analysis, just we are considering xt and xt. Okay, so because the voltage will be divided by 2. So obviously if the input is 2xt, then obviously it will be xt, and in lower portion corresponding output will be xt also. So however, so we can write v1 equal to, you can see that from the corresponding sign or corresponding polarity of xt and the cos omega ct, you can write that v1 equal to xt plus cos omega ct, and v2 equal to cos omega ct minus xt. So we can write that v1 equal to cos omega ct plus xt, and v2 equal to cos omega ct minus xt. Okay, now we are calculating the current through each diode. So current through each diode d1, it will be nothing but i1 equal to a plus b v1 plus c v1 square. So obviously it will be a plus b cos omega ct plus xt plus c into cos omega ct plus xt whole square, and it can be written as like this: I1 equal to a plus b cos omega ct plus bxt plus c cos square omega ct plus c x square t plus 2c cos omega ct xt. Similarly, the current through the second diode will be nothing but I2 equal to a plus b cos omega ct minus xt plus c into cos omega ct minus xt whole square, and it will become ultimately a plus b cos omega ct minus bxt plus c cos omega cos square omega ct plus c x square t minus 2c cos omega ct xt. Now you can see that the voltage that is applied across the band pass filter, it is v input. So vi is nothing but v3 minus v4. So if we make so vi can be written as v3 minus v4. Now what is v3? V3 is nothing but I1 into r, that is flow across it. So I1 into r, and v4 is nothing but I2 into r. So obviously vi equal to r minus I1 minus I2. Now if we make this difference, so what we get? We get ultimately vi equal to r into 2v xt plus 4v xt into cos omega ct. So you can clearly see that this one is the basically modulated portion or sideband, it denotes the sideband, but xt is the message signal. So obviously in the corresponding equation we get the message signal component and the sideband component, as the other respective carrier term or the um, carrier term or the DC component or the harmonics are suppressed here. That's why you call it as the balance modulator. But as the message signal is still present, so that's why you call it as the single balance modulator. Okay. Now again, if this signal is passing through the corresponding LC circuit or bandpass filter, so obviously, and whose center frequency is omega c, and whose upper cutoff frequency is omega c plus omega m, and lower cutoff frequency is omega c minus omega m. So obviously, we get only this term associated with the sideband only, and ultimately the output of the bandpass filter will be nothing but 4 into b r into xt into cos omega ct. So here you can see that there is no separate frequency carrier term in this equation. So obviously, this is the DSB-SC signal where the carrier term is suppressed. Clear? So by using this procedure, we can generate the DSB-SC signal, and this is called the balance modulator. Clear? I think the operating principle is quite simple, and it is clear to you. However, if any problem occurred to understand, please post them. Now let's move to the next part, that is the double balance modulator. We can also call as the ring modulator, also call it as chopper modulator or switching modulator. All these are same. In the semester, if any of these modulator name is mentioned, so all are the same, either double balance, ring, chopper or switching modulator. Just remember them. Okay. So this is the corresponding circuitry of ring modulator or double balance modulator, where we generate the DSB signal, and obviously here we use that there is the equation is balanced with respect to a carrier and message signal also. That's why we call it as the double balance. Okay. Now let's observe the circuit of the balance modulator. So sorry, double balance modulator or ring modulator. So here we use two center tap transformer in the input end and output end also. It is interesting to note that the here we use the don't use the sinusoidal carrier, but here you use the uh, a pulse of high frequency carrier or rectangular signal or clock signal, or you can or square wave. Okay. So we use a chain of square wave pulse of high frequency signal as carrier wave here, and which applied across both transformer end, both center tap of the transformer. Okay. You can see that this is the carrier signal which generate the square wave, and it is applied across the center tap of the both transformer. And one of the xt signal or modulating signal is applied across the T1 transformer, and output of the T2 transformer will be nothing but DSBSC signal. Okay. Now there are four diode, D1, D2, D3 and D4, and those are connected like this. Okay. Now what will happen, that depending on the positive or negative peak or the polarity of the A and C point, or B and D point, yeah, A C and B D point. So this diode will be sometime will be switch on and switch off like the bridge rectifier. Okay. So as using the switching action, that means sometime these diode are on, sometime diode are off. So that's why we called it as also switching modulator. Okay. Now let's move on to the operating principle of this ring modulator or switching modulator. Now initially, to understand the operation, when the D1, D2 or D3, D4 will be on or off, so initially we consider the zero input. So if you use xt equal to 0, and we use the only the carrier signal in the circuitry, so in that case we can see that when the carrier signal or carrier signal has the positive polarity, D1 and D2 will be on, and others D3 and D4 will be off for the positive cycle. Remember the positive cycle and zero input. And obviously, at this point, two voltage will cancel each other, and ultimately we get at also zero output, because here xt equal to 0. Okay. Now in the negative cycle, cycle, when carrier is negative, okay, in the negative, so here is the polarity, observe the polarity is negative. So in that case, D3 and D4 those will be on, and whereas D1 and D2 will be off. Okay, well, because it is conventional quite across that in forward bias diode will be on and negative reverse bias diode will be off. So using that concept, you can see that in the negative cycle when this point is negative quite A and C, so in that case D3 and D4 will be on, whereas others will be off. Clear? So remember just two cases at when positive cycle, that means when this tap will be positive, D1 D2 will be on, and in negative cycle when carrier signal has negative or this point is negative A and C, D3 D4 will be on and desktop diode are off. Okay. Now to understand the operation of this balance modulator, let's discuss the mathematical expression for the output of this switching modulator or ring modulator. So, as we consider a periodic square wave or clock signal, now any periodic square signal, the corresponding Fourier series can be expressed in term of like this: omega 0 t equal to 4 pi cos omega ct minus 1 by 3 cos 3 omega c plus 1 by 5 cos omega ct minus 1 by 7 cos 7 omega c. You can see that 3 omega c, 5 omega c, 7 omega c, all these are the corresponding harmonics of the carrier signal. Okay, obviously these are the unwanted part, but here only interesting or desirable frequency component of the corresponding periodic square wave is cos omega c. Now, if we multiply this omega 0 t with xt, so v 0 t is nothing but omega 0 t into xt, so that will be nothing but 4 pi into xt cos omega ct minus 1 by 3 xt 3 omega ct plus 1 by 5 xt into cos 5 omega ct, look like this. And it can be see that this one represent AM signal, this one also represent the AM signal, this one also represent the AM signal, but here the carrier frequency is the 3 omega c, here the carrier frequency is the 5 omega c. So obviously xt 3 omega c is also AM but with harmonics origin. Okay, modulated wave, but it is the harmonics of the modulated wave. Similarly, this is the higher order harmonics of the modulated wave. So therefore it contains the original modulated wave as well as its harmonic. Now if we pass through it a bandpass filter whose center and UCF and low LCF are omega c plus omega c comma omega c plus omega m and omega c minus omega m respectively, then we will get this term only 4 pi into xt cos omega ct. Okay, now you can see that in this equation there is no DC term, there is no carrier term, and there is no modulating component only. Okay, but there is harmonics of modulated wave. Clear? So that's why we will call this at the double balance modulator. It is balanced with respect to modulating signal also and with respect to carrier signal also. So as this is the there is no separate carrier term associated with the equation, we can call it as the DSB SC signal. Okay, so therefore you can see that generated wave is balanced with respect to both carrier as well as modulating signal. Balanced, that means either it is suppressed or not. Okay, if the both carrier and modulating signal are suppressed or absent in the respective equation, then we can call it as balanced with respect to both of them. Okay, so hence we call it as the double balance modulator, and that generate that corresponding DSB-SC AM signal. So that is the mathematical part, and let's see how the DSB generated using the waveform. So you can see that this one is the input to the T1 transformer XT. So this one is the T1 transformer, and input of the carrier signal is square wave. So obviously, so square wave is represented by like this way, and whose frequency is higher with compared to the XT signal, and it is applied across the both of the center tap transformer T1 and T2. Now consider the positive half cycle. Now when in the positive half cycle xt is positive, but here you can see that when ct is positive, so ultimately the modulated wave is xt into ct. So positive positive, that means positive, that means in that case d1 and d2 will be on. We already described that in the positive half cycle d1 and d2 will be on. So you can see that when this portion only positive part, positive half cycle, this is the positive part, positive part, positive, so in that scenario d1 and d2 are on. So just we show it by using this type of shaded area. But if you consider the negative part of the ct, so in that case xt into ct equal be negative, because xt is positive, ct is negative. Consider this area. So ultimately the polarity will be negative. So in that case, when the polarity is negative, that means in that case d3 and d4 will be on. So we get this output for d3 and d4. This one we get the output when the d3 and d4 will on, but here d1 d2 will be off. So in positive half cycle d1 and d2 is on and d3 and d4 are on when the negative half cycle, there is negative half cycle. This scenario happened when xt is positive. Now consider the case when polarity of the xt is reversed. So when xt when the it cross this axis, that means xt become negative. So in that case consider this area. In that case suppose ct is positive but xt is negative. Okay, so ultimately xt into ct that will become negative, and we know that in when the negative at the negative half cycle or negative polarity occurred, d3 and d4 will be on. So we can see that at this area d3 and d4 will be on. That means total scenario become reversed. That means upper half, upper region, this upper half cycle d3 and d4 is on, but in the second case when the polarity of the xt become negative, at the negative part d1 d2 is on. So that means here d3 and d4 is on, here d1 and d2 are on. Similarly when again xt become positive, it will become d1 and d2 is on, here d3 and d4 is on. So ultimately we get this type of output. Okay, now if it is passed through the capacitor, obviously due to the capacitive effect this ripple will be removed and it will become a continuous in nature, and ultimately we get this type of signal. So you can see that this is nothing but the DSB-SC signal, where you can see that clearly a phase reversal occurred at the point where the polarity change. Okay, so this is the output of the corresponding balance double balance modulator or ring modulator, which is DSB-SC in nature. Clear? Again I am telling you, remember just term, when the polarity is positive then d1 and d2 will be on and we get the output for these two diode only, and when polarity is reversed d3 and d4 are on and we get the output due to these two diode d3 and d4. Okay, and when xt become negative the scenario become reversed. That means at the positive sorry, when the ct become positive d3 d4 are on, and when ct become negative d1 d2 are on, and if when it pass through the capacitor we get ultimately this type of continuous DSB-SC signal. Okay, so coming to the conclusion, so here in this class we have studied how can we generate DSB-SC and DSB-FC signal, and moreover we use three type of we have discussed three type of modulator that are used in practically. So those are the square law modulator, which is very simple in nature, but it is unbalanced. That means there is DC term, there is modulating signal part, there is carrier term initially, and it generates the DSBFC signal. Now, to overcome the disadvantage of the square law modulator, we use the balance modulator, where we use two diode. Those are connected parallelly of a center tap transformer. But we can see that in that scenario, it is balanced only with respect to carrier term. There is no carrier term in the output, but it is but there is modulating signal is present in the initial equation of the balance modulator. But when it passes through the band pass filter, ultimately we get the DSBSC signal. And now, if you want to suppress both carrier term and the modulating signal, or if you want to balance the modulator with respect to both carrier and message signal, we need to use the ring modulator or switching modulator or chopper circuit to get the DSBSC signal. So here you use the four diode. Those are connected like the bridge rectifier, and when at the positive half cycle, D1 and D2 will be on, and the negative half cycle D3 and D4 will be on. And when D1 and D2 are on, D3 D4 will be off, and when D3 D4 are on, D1 D2 will be off. Okay, so by using this switching circuit or switching modulator, we can generate a double balanced DSBSC signal easily. So these are the three type of modulator. Those are used uh, in the real life application to design the modulator. And here we should remember that that here we use the diode as nonlinear device, although we know that corresponding diode equation as exponentially, but here we express the nonlinear characteristic of current and voltage with using the second order polynomial equation. Okay, so that's all. So these are the references, and if you have any problem, please post them. Thank you.